parents are really starting to understand the value of teachers these days, when now they have to be at home with their children, working full-time and also trying to teach their children full-time. So we asked a friend of our show, my dear friend, who is an educator herself, but also is a coach for other teachers, Staci Ortiz-Davis. Hi, Staci.
Hi, Lisa. It's good to see you.
Good to see you. Okay, so first of all, what is your advice to parents, just cursory, what is your advice to parents who are sitting there, pulling their hair out, trying to teach their kids at home?
Be patient.
Yeah.
Be patient. This is the very first time that parents have had to be in this role as not only a parent, but also as a supporting educator and a coach. And I'm hearing from a lot of parents that it's stressing them out because they're putting pressure on themselves. And so I think the most important piece of advice that I would like to start with is be patient and be kind to yourself.
Okay, so my kid is fighting me. I don't know how to handle my child. He or she does not want to learn. They don't want to do the online classes. They're not completing the assignments. They're just, it's a fight. I work with them. I fight with them 5 hours a day and they only get 20 minutes done. So is that good enough? What should I be doing if I have a young child? And what should I be doing if I have like a high schooler?
It's interesting that you pose the question, is it good enough? First, parents should really hear from the teacher what the expectation is. What is the standard? What is the rigor? What should we be expecting from students? Because again, it's a time that we've never faced before. And every school district and every school has, while we have the same state standards, there are different levels of expectations. And so the parent needs to understand from the teacher what is expected. For example, I heard from one parent who has an elementary student, and she spoke with the teacher because she was frustrated, and the teacher said, look, as long as your child is completing the math and reading 30 minutes a day, I am pleased with that. So you want to understand what the standard is and what the level of expectation is. Now, if you start to pull out your hair because you just can't get your child to do what they're being asked to do, how do you parent?
Yeah.
Think in terms of what you normally do to motivate your child to follow the rules and to follow procedures. One thing as educators that we have learned is to praise and reward. So set goals, sit down with your child and set goals and have them be a part of setting that goal so that they don't feel that they're being talked down to, so that they feel that they're a part of that goal setting. And when that child reaches that goal, praise and reward. And so maybe you sit down with your child and explain to them how important it is for them to continue to read. And then you set that goal of, all right, 15 minutes at 10 a.m. And then we walk away at 10:15 and we do something else and we have a brain break. And then we come back at 11 a.m. and we read for 15 more minutes. And if you both agree to that and your child falls into that routine, reward and praise.
Okay, so I know too, and you right now are teaching, I mean, you're an English teacher in the high school level, and so you're dealing with high schoolers, and I'm also concerned about parents of high schoolers who are concerned about their child making the grade. SAT, ACTs shut down at this point.
Right.
How is my kid going to get into college in this environment?
Well, fortunately, the colleges have been very clear communicating to us how the admissions procedure will take place. And so at the UC system, they are accepting either grades or credit, no credit. But listen closely, credit, no credit still is a consequence. So if a student does not meet the standard and receives no credit for the class, then he or she is not going to graduate. He or she is not going to get into the college. They have to repeat that course, whether it be through summer school or the following year. So you want to have that conversation with your child to ensure that they understand the consequences of not completing the work. One thing that I have found valuable when I was teaching in the classroom, if I had a student who was struggling, I would arrange a meeting with the parents, the child, and myself, and we would all come together. We would sit down and we would have an honest discussion with the child to discover why he or she is struggling. Is it motivation? Is it they are not understanding the work? Do they need extra support? We needed to get to the root of why the child was unable to learn and why the child was not producing. And you can do that virtually now. Teachers are making themselves available through office hours, and we're taking advantage of technology like Zoom or Google Meets. And I know that teachers would be willing to sit down and have a conversation with the student and the parents, and that's one thing I would recommend.
And then lastly, what is your opinion on kind of setting up an area in the house, and that is the learning environment? And then, I mean, is that helpful? Should I do that as a parent?
Absolutely. Remove the television, remove the music, remove distractions. Students need a safe environment where they can focus and they're not distracted. Just like all of the parents at home who are having to work, I'm sure that they have felt the struggle and wanting to go to the refrigerator or turn on the television set. What is so valuable is not only physical space where you can focus and remove the distractions, but also a schedule. Some students that I have spoken with are sleeping in until 11 a.m. and that sets a tone of, it's summer vacation. I really don't have to work, or I can work when I feel like it. So if we establish a schedule where students wake up at a certain time and they log on at a certain time and they complete subjects at a certain time, you'll find that that will motivate them and keep them focused as well.
And I know I keep saying lastly, but one more thing came to my mind.
Yeah.
What do you suggest for parents that are feeling overwhelmed? I know we started with this, and I just want to make sure that drives home from a real educator to parents. What should they be feeling? Should they just kind of give themselves a break? I mean, what's good enough?
Good enough is going to be defined by the teacher. So I really would like to stress that the parent communicates with the teacher so that they understand what the expectation is, and stay calm. Don't beat yourself up. Pat yourself on the back and take advantage of all of the supplementary materials that are online. There are so many great websites that support the learning and make learning fun, and that is one way to help engage your child. I remember I hated math when I was in school, so I could only imagine if I were at home right now having to learn math, that would be like pulling teeth. But if there is an app or a website that makes the learning fun and help support the learning, I think that would have made a difference in my learning growing up, and so use that tool as well.
All right, Staci, thank you for your time. We appreciate it so much.
You're welcome, Lisa. Thank you for having me.